Okay, so we've all been there, right? You have that one friend, you're talking all the time, and then, poof, they just vanish. Especially when things get tough. One minute you're deep in conversation, the next, it's just radio silence. And it's confusing, right? It can even sting a little. Well, today, we're going to dig into the psychology behind that. Why do some people just pull away when they're stressed out?
I mean, it's a question we've all asked ourselves, hasn't it? You shoot off a text, and you see those two little check marks, but no reply. Left on read. You try calling, straight to voicemail. And that's when your brain starts doing that thing, right? That spiral. Wait, what did I do? Are they mad at me? Did I say something wrong? It's such a universal feeling. But here's the kicker. The real reason for that silence, it's almost never what we think it is.
And this is the big secret, the absolute key to all of this, right up front. That whole disappearing act, it's almost never about you. Seriously, it's a defense mechanism, something that's just hardwired in them. So instead of thinking of it as a rejection, try to see it as like a psychological SOS flare. And honestly, if you can make that one little shift in how you see it, it changes everything. It's the key to everything we're about to get into.
All right, so let's start by just calling it what it is. The disappearing act. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that jarring, sudden shift from, being super connected to just quiet. It can leave you feeling totally blindsided.
I mean, it's such a familiar pattern, right? You've got the inside jokes going, the daily how's your day texts, that constant easy flow of conversation, and then, boom, it just stops. And that silence, man, it can feel deafening. And what do our brains do? They hate a vacuum. So they immediately start racing to fill in the blanks. And, usually, they fill them with the absolute worst-case scenarios.
So, okay, what is actually going on inside their head? Let's pop the hood and get into the science of it. Because what we're really talking about here is a brain that is just completely in overdrive. And this is so important, it's not a conscious choice to be a bad friend. It's a subconscious, almost automatic reaction to just being totally and utterly overwhelmed.
This right here is the key concept. It's called the threat response. See, when our brains sense overwhelming stress, and that could be from work, from family drama, you name it, they can literally switch into survival mode. All of a sudden, the part of our brain that handles social stuff, it gets put on the back burner. Self-preservation takes over. You've heard of fight, flight, or freeze, right? Well, this is kind of the fourth F, fade away.
So, okay, why does the brain do this? Why retreat? Well, for one, to conserve cognitive energy. I mean, socializing takes up brain power. And when you're stressed, that's a resource you just don't have. Another big one is to avoid potential conflict. When we're stressed, we're irritable, right? The brain knows this, and it pulls back to stop you from accidentally snapping at someone you care about. Then there's this really powerful fear of being a burden. Just explaining the mess in your head feels exhausting, and you don't want to drag your friends down with you. And finally, it's about control. When your whole world feels chaotic and out of your control, pulling back your social life can feel like the one thing you can actually manage.
This is maybe the best way to think about it. Imagine your brain is a web browser, and you've got like 100 tabs open, and music is playing from 5 of them, and a video is auto-playing on another, and the little pinwheel is just spinning and spinning. The whole system is lagging. It's about to crash. You know that feeling, right? Closing 1 or 2 tabs isn't going to cut it. You need to do a full-on hard reboot. And that's what going silent is. It's their brain's desperate attempt to just shut everything down and start over.
And this right here brings us to the absolute heart of the problem, the core of the misunderstanding. It's this giant gap between what the person pulling away intends and the impact that it has on the person they're pulling away from.
Okay, you're going to want to really look at this because this is the aha moment of this whole explainer. On their side, their intent is, I just need to recharge my batteries. But what you perceive is, they're totally ignoring me. Their intent is, I don't want to lash out at you. But the impact on you is, they just don't care. They're thinking, I feel so ashamed of how stressed I am, and you're over there thinking, I must have done something wrong. See? It's the exact same situation, but it's being seen through 2 completely different and, frankly, really painful lenses.
Okay, so we get the problem now, right? The big question is, what do we do about it? How do we actually build a bridge over that communication gap? Let's get into some real, practical advice for both people in this situation.
All right, so if you're the one who tends to go quiet, listen up. The key here is just one tiny act of communication. First things first, you have to acknowledge that it's okay to need space. No guilt. Step 2, just send a super short, super low pressure text. We're not trying to have a huge talk here. And then, step 3, if you can manage it, just give them a little hint of a timeline. It helps manage their expectations and shows you care.
And look, here's a script. You can literally just copy and paste this into your phone. Hey, I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed right now. I need to go quiet for a bit. It's not you at all. I'll reach out when I have more capacity. That's it. That one little text, I'm telling you, it can prevent weeks of worry for your friend. And it takes all the pressure off of you to have to be on when you just can't.
Okay, now let's flip it. If you're on the receiving end of the silence, your job is just as important. Step 1, and this is the big one, do not take it personally. Remember everything we just talked about. Step 2, send one single, supportive, no-strings-attached message. Something like, hey, thinking of you, no need to reply. And then comes the hardest part. You have to actually give them the space they're asking for. Trust them.
When you get right down to it, all of this, it all boils down to one really powerful idea. Let's call it the empathy equation. It's really the final piece of the puzzle that kind of puts this whole thing into a new light.
And it's really this simple. Understanding the why changes everything. The second you truly get that their withdrawal is being driven by stress and not by a lack of caring for you, the whole dynamic flips. Your feeling of being personally hurt, it transforms into compassion. All that judgment just dissolves, and it makes room for you to actually support them.
So let's land the plane with this thought, because it really wraps up the whole idea perfectly. Their withdrawal isn't about the absence of care for you. It's about the overwhelming presence of stress in them. If you can really let that sink in, I mean, that reframe right there can literally save a friendship.
And I want to leave you with this one last question to chew on. What if I need space isn't just another way of pushing you away? What if it's actually another way of saying, I trust you enough to show you that I'm not okay? That they trust you'll still be there when the storm passes? I mean, just think about it. What would change if we all started seeing it that way?